Hey, this is Wesley Smith with Tree Service Digital and the Tree Service Marketing Profits Podcast for another episode with a business owner in the tree service space. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got plenty more interviews and marketing tips coming up down the pike. And if you're on the podcast, listening to the audio only, like and subscribe to your favorite podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, all the major podcasts out there. And today we've got Lucas Wilson with Sabertooth Tree in Canada on with us to share his business story and some cool tips and tricks. Lucas, welcome aboard, man. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you very much for having me out.
Yeah, no problem. So you're in Canada and you're in the tree service business. I imagine it's getting pretty cold up there right now. And well, tell us a little bit about how
Uh,
you got started, man. What you're doing these days.
yeah, it is a little bit cold. So yeah, I'm actually co-owner of a company called Sabertooth Tree Service. I own it with my business partner, who's his name is Jeff Barker. He's not here, obviously, but he's a full-time firefighter, who is kind of looking to get into starting his own thing. And back in April of 2024, we came together and formed a partnership and started Sabertooth Tree Service. So we're actually just wrapped up our first year and just finished incorporating our partnership. So we've gone through a bunch of big steps in the last, just 9-10 months of kind of running Sabertooth Tree Service.
Cool, man. What did you guys do before starting the business? Were you guys already in the space, kind of just working for another tree company?
Yeah, so we actually both coincidentally were working for the company that I did my entire apprenticeship with. He was obviously a full-time firefighter who had lots of time off kind of between shifts, and he was working for us part-time. Um, I had set up kind of my own business just for my side work, and it was picking up and getting busy and getting busy. And I was looking to expand and get out and do something completely on my own. He it just really made a nice fit. He's a little bit less of the, technical tree side and the climbing and the operations side, even though he was kind of working groundwork and stuff with us, but he tackles a lot of that office aspect. And I tackle a lot more of like the quotes and the operation side. So it became a really nice merger and a really nice partnership where we complemented each other well. And it really made sense, and it's worked great that way.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. When you form a partnership, it's kind of the synergy of all the skills, right? Some people have this kind of skill set, some people have this skill set, and if you have different skill sets and backgrounds, it always is a little bit better, I think, because that way both of you know a little something different to kind of keep the business humming right along instead of both of you knowing the same thing. So, otherwise you got to hire for that, right? So if you got the two partners that know both angles, the operations and then the technical tree side, it's a good combination. Good, man. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm definitely.
keep going, man. Just a small delay there, it sounds like.
Sorry. Sorry, yeah, absolutely. No, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not the office side aspect of that. I enjoy being out with customers. I enjoy doing quotes. I love doing. I tackle all the climbing, all the communications and stuff with clients and whatnot. And every once in a while, I get that email. Hey, we got to get this truck in and get safety. Like he's very much on top of all that aspect, and yeah, we complement each other well that way.
That's great, man. That's great. That's a kind of the ideal partnership, I think. And same thing in my world in the digital marketing space. There's lots of business owners with partnerships, and one guy's the sales and marketing guy, and the other one's the operations, and it's kind of a good kind of synergy between the two. Well, cool. So you guys just recently bootstrapped the business, got it going, formed a partnership, kind of launched it, started kind of moving forward last year. Tell me a little bit about the first few months. I guess you said you were kind of doing this on the side prior to starting full time, or was it just absolutely just pivot 180, just go for it?
It was kind of, in all honesty, the going off on my own was a bit of a slow burn. The partnership was more of the aspect I wasn't anticipating when we finally did do it. In 2021, I had set up a company called Lucas Wilson Tree Service, and that was just to get, make sure I was insured for my side work, make sure I was doing enough work that I had to start claiming things, for tax purposes and whatnot. And then yeah, in 2024, when we decided we were going to go off on our own, it just made more sense to come together. That being said, I was always kind of prepared for the fact I wanted to own a business. So we one of the most beneficial things for us, I think, was uh, we didn't actually purchase any equipment right off top. Everything that we had been preparing for, a little myself, close to 3 years, to go off on my own. We had everything kind of set before, not from his perspective of quitting his fire department job, but from my perspective of quitting my full time job. I wasn't quitting and then buying a brand new truck or a brand new chipper. We had everything set in place, and then it was all right. This is our date, and this is where we're going to go about it.
Cool. So you already had kind of a background, sort of a ramping up period with your own Lucas Wilson tree service business. And tell us a little bit about, because there's a lot of people out there that are watching. And hey, guys, if you got any questions for us, comment on the video on YouTube. We'll always come back and answer those questions later. Or if you're on the podcast, ask a question there. But tell us a little bit about those early months, man, when you guys first started. What are some of the things that you guys did to really ramp up? Because there's a lot of people watching these videos that are either thinking about getting started, they're already got a side hustle doing it. They just want to go all in at some point and they're not sure of that time to do it type thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of that toe in the line time frame. And then so like when you guys finally did it, like what's been kind of the best way to continue to accumulate customers as you move forward with the business?
Those first few months were honestly just kind of like boots on the ground. We made flyers, we walked neighborhoods, we hit hockey arenas and stuff, putting business cards up on bulletin boards. Probably the most beneficial thing for us in terms of just word of mouth clients has been getting involved in a couple of like community Facebook groups. So we join a community Facebook group, certain areas that, and then people will ask, hey, I'm looking for an arborist. I'm looking for a plumber. I'm looking for somebody to build a deck. Who would you recommend? And we got involved in those. Bunch of them were great because small businesses were able to advertise on weekends. And that has been just the biggest thing. I would honestly say almost 90% of our clientele throughout this first year came from referrals through customers, and especially really big within those Facebook community groups of people looking for people to do tree work.
Great tip, man. Yeah, it's with marketing and advertising, there's different stages of your business where you kind of implement different types of marketing, right? And in the early years, you've got more time than you've got money. So you may as well get out there and shake the trees, so to speak, quote unquote, shake the trees a little bit, hand out the flyers, hand out the business cards, put out yard signs, knock on doors, put door hangers, go to these big places where there's tons of population or big crowds and just try to get in and get out there because it only takes a few customers to kind of book your day out. And then from there, you can get more referrals from the neighbors, put out some signs, get a few more calls, make sure the trucks are wrapped, right? Where people see you because you're driving and hundreds of people are seeing you per day. So it's all these little things that you keep step by step, incrementally putting into place for your business that kind of keeps bringing in more customers. And that's an awesome tip too with the Facebook groups. I've heard a lot of people talk about that. And so for local business and local home services, those are awesome for that. Like they have like garage sale groups and like local community groups, right? So it's like a group that's in your neighborhood or sort of like your city. And then you just kind of get in there and start answering questions maybe and then to get referrals from there, right?
Yeah, that absolutely. That's the gist of it. And I recommend that to any, like I've had a couple of friends who have also been out to start business and said like, no, you need to get involved in these groups and don't be, embarrassed to like tell every single person that you meet, hi, I'm so and so, this is my business. Like it's for a lot of people, at least starting out, it's the only way is your own, getting your feet on the ground. And you know I'm not going to spend excessive amounts of money to advertise on radio and TV, and that it's not realistic. But I am personable enough to go and introduce myself to strangers and try to spread my business's name, right? So it went well. It went really, really well that way so far.
Yeah, you sound like a personable guy, man. You can talk to people, start a conversation, and kind of get it going, which that's kind of what it's all about. It's a lot of in sales, they call it the 5 foot rule. So anybody within 5 foot of you, you're talking about your business. And so that's really good. That's great that you started that way and you kind of got that going. So then after that, man, so what about the Google business profile? Do you have that set up, the Google Maps listing where you can get reviews on there and start building those?
We have I have started. I think we have maybe only one or two at this point, and it was honestly just yeah, I just never got around to setting it up, but I've done it recently. But I also, I think there's part of me that I don't know kind of which way to take in the sense of getting more of those Google reviews where I don't want to be pushing customers and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do this?" I want it to be a little bit more organic, and thankfully we've had a few people make some nice reviews about us. But I yeah, I that is part of the thing that I'd like to get kind of ramping up a little bit more is maybe that digital side. Our like our social media, I think is quite is fairly good in terms of content, but maybe our website or yeah, like our Google profile isn't quite there yet. But there's a lot of other steps when you're making sure equipment's running, making sure the work is coming in, and then once that hits that point where I'm happy with it, we can focus on some other things, right? So
Good. Yeah, yeah. One of the cool things, a quick little tip, anybody watching too, if you've got your Google business profile set up, there when you click inside there and you go into the settings, I think it's the settings of your account. There's a little three dot thing right up there in the top. When you click on it, it'll say get more reviews. And when you click on that get more reviews, you can go in there and copy this little link. It's a little short link that literally links right to your Google review pop-up. And so if you store that in your phone, or on your computer in your email when you're sending out invoices or estimates or whatever, or when you're finishing up a job, you can literally text it right to your customer. Hey, did we give you 5-star service today?
okay.
We work really, really hard to get 5-star reviews. And if we did, we'd really appreciate an online review. It really helps our business out a great deal. We're just getting started. We'd really love if you could do that for us real quick. And if you ask people, man, most of them will go ahead and do it for you. Right. So that could be the difference between getting a couple or getting like 100 within the next 6 months to a year. And I can tell you, like, that's one thing that if you focus on and work on, it'll give everything else better results too. So, just a quick tip for you and anybody watching. It's really easy to do that. You don't even need any fancy tool for the reviews. There's some good automated tools and services out there for sure. Nice job, Bird Eye, things like that. But if you're just getting started, man, just get that little short link inside your profile and you can save it to your phone and your email and just send them out. But good job on getting it verified and getting it going. That's awesome. And so take me through after that. You guys got going. Were you guys pretty steady this past year in your first full year?
We were actually more steady than I even kind of was anticipating or expecting. I was really happy with how everything went. We got to the point where we were even able to make a few purchases of equipment and get some new tools and equipment because things were working and never got to the point where we were necessarily needing to hire full time. But we did end up having to bring out some part time laborers and subcontract in some people because we had to keep it up with things. Um, with Jeff being a full time firefighter, I do go back and subcontract as a contract climber for my old employer. So for us to book up really quickly, maybe I don't need as much as some people for a full week's worth of work. But there was times where we were 8 to 10 weeks booked out on top of my contract climbing at least 2 or 3 times a week.
Man, that's awesome. That's all you can ask for when you're getting started, right? That's good. That means you guys are doing something right. People are liking your work and they're referring you. People do business with people they like. So that's saying a lot about what you guys are doing. So it sounds pretty optimistic from this point forward, too. I mean, if you're getting booked out that long in the first year, that's amazing, man. A lot of people probably like to hear that. Well, good. So you guys are booking out. You guys are getting that going. Anything? So now it's kind of the cold season. Are you guys kind of just working on maybe plan for this year? Kind of working on maybe the next steps and kind of what to do. What new steps are coming in for the spring when it really rolls up?
Yeah, so like I said, it's a little chilly here. Like today was the first day that we actually worked this week. It was minus 23 earlier this week up in where we
Yeah.
are in Canada.
Hmm.
So yeah, we only worked the one day. And obviously with the business, right now we were just kind of going through a lot of processes with getting the corporation set up and all the, all the banking things for that. And right now I'm just contract climbing for my old employer and then hoping come kind of, late April, we can start booking in some things, for Sabretooth to tackle like as solo projects. But still keeping busy every day. I'm scheduled for contract climbing every day that the weather is, holding up for us.
Yeah, -20, man. I'm down here in the southern part of the United States in Georgia. And we've been getting down into the teens, probably like 10, 15 degrees at nighttime, and that's very cold for this area of the country. And I can tell you, we don't really know what to do with ourselves when it gets below about 30 degrees around here. So you guys are used to it. You guys know how to handle that type of weather, man. You're equipped with probably the layered up clothing. We just don't have to deal with it too much like that. But that's amazing, man. That is cold. We actually got some snow for the first time in a couple of years. Not much, but we got a little bit. And well,
You know
good.
what?
Yeah.
We got snow sticking around. Yeah, we got snow sticking around for the first time in a few years, actually. So.
Really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, good, man. So this year probably going to be more of the same, right? Busy, booked out, 8 to 12 weeks. What's kind of that next thing, just to kind of continue to move forward the way you are, kind of just to grow kind of that organic way, and then maybe just strategic purchases of equipment or different things that are going to help you guys be more efficient, things like that. Is that kind of the goal for this year? I would assume.
The goal for this year is more of the same. I think we would probably like to do a little bit. We certainly want to do more in terms of revenue. Last year we got started in April, so we did lose some time in terms of when you calculate everything up. But we're getting going here, obviously, with a full calendar year this year. So I want the revenue to be a little bit greater, and I want to stay in that I find about a 4 to 6 weeks booked out really allows me to service customers properly, and where they're not kind of antsy waiting, going, oh, okay, maybe I'll find somebody else. And then on top of getting to things, maybe if they're hazardous, I'm not worried going, oh God, I'm not going to get to this for a while. And then in terms of equipment, I think will be the next big purchase. We have a 12-inch chipper with a 15-yard chip truck, and we have a 1-ton truck with with log trailer and stuff. But I'd love to upgrade our kind of like our brush hauler. We have a small unit right now for hauling brush, but I'd love to upgrade that this year. That'll be the big thing. Not quite to the point where I want to hire a full-time employee or take on an apprentice. I think that maybe is another year or two from now. But yeah, when we do that, I'd really like to kind of lean less on the contract climbing and more completely on our jobs kind of as a solo company.
Well, that's the great thing about, being in control of your destiny with your own business is you can kind of grow at your own pace. You can do the organic thing for 2, 3, 4 years and just grow smartly, continue to save, buy that equipment that strategically is going to help you guys be more streamlined and efficient and quicker probably to get the jobs done. And then just, when it's time, you start maybe doing some more marketing or buy some more equipment or hire some more, full-time people. But there's no rush, right? I mean, if you created a business and started a business, you don't need to go to zero to infinity in 3 years. Some people think that they just want to skyrocket it really fast, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've seen kind of both sides of it, but in some cases, it's just fun to run your company and you enjoy what you do. So there's no fast or slow or right or wrong way to do it. So I think that's the smart way. Honestly, save the money, continue to just incrementally grow each year, and then start adding in some strategic things when you can afford it and it makes sense with the budget and things like that. But it sounds like you guys are off to a great start, man. So firefighting, that's a definitely awesome part-time. Is it a part-time gig with the firefighting, your partner? Or you said full-time?
Uh, he's a full-time firefighter, and I'm a volunteer firefighter as well, actually. So he's full-time closer to Toronto, and I'm in our town here in Strathroy. I'm on the volunteer department.
Man, that is awesome for, I think, a marketing angle too. Everybody likes the local firefighters, man. You guys are heroes in most markets. So to have that as like a set, like a drawback, hey, I'm actually a firefighter. Oh, wow. Yeah, we definitely want this guy to do our tree service work. That seems like a pretty good segue. Has it been a positive impact? Probably dropping that line.
It's helpful. You know what? And not even just the dropping the line, but I think we get to know a lot of people. Like being in that service, we do work with a lot of different people. I mean, there's 26 people alone at my hall. So those 26 people might tell somebody, oh hey, yeah, if you need a tree done, this is who I'd recommend. And even other things like I notice my kids aren't quite there yet where they're doing it, but Jeff's kids playing hockey, playing football. It's like when you get involved with those other parents and you get involved in that community of that team, they'll spread your name around too when you need it, and you get involved with a lot of groups. And yeah, even if it's through a church or, through Boy Scout, whatever it might be, it's nice to be involved in those kind of communities and groups. And they're really helpful with spreading that around.
Yeah, it's a snowball effect, really is. If you just, you just enjoy the journey really of growing the business and stuff like that. Because I've owned two businesses already, and it's kind of like the first few years, man, it's just a matter of telling everybody what you do. Not you're not stuffing it down people's throat, but you're just letting people know what you do, right? And no, by the way, if you guys need some tree service work, here's my card or whatever. And like you said, the firefighting crew, like it's 20 more people that can just spread the word a little bit, right? And people will help you out too. Friends and family want to help you out with your business. So that's a good tip. If you guys are watching this video, just get out there and just be sociable. And if you have kids, like I do too, you're going to baseball field, you're doing all kinds of stuff, right? There's always just dozens and dozens of adults and parents at these um, places and that your kids are they're doing, having fun at. So it's just a matter of telling everybody. So it sounds like you guys are growing and doing everything else, man. Any words of wisdom for maybe people that are kind of on the fence right now? They're looking to start their company. They definitely are right there on the cusp of maybe going out full time or really getting it going. Like, what was kind of like the first step or the first maybe thing that you did that really maybe helped you out the most, would you think?
I don't know if there's necessarily one step. I was really fortunate in the aspect of the individual, like my old full-time employer, never really hindering my desire to want to be a business owner. So to always being able to kind of bounce that off of him and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. This is what this is this plan, this is that. So I never really felt like there was that kind of sense of doubt and I couldn't do it because I was always I was really propped up in the sense of, no, I did this, and why would I want to prevent one of my employees from doing this? And I also think maybe having a little bit of the humility to know when to ask for help, especially like we said, I'm not the office guy, so asking for help when you know you need it, or inquiring about whether that be subcontracting or friends or partnerships, I think that's really crucial. So yeah, I don't know if there's necessarily one specific thing, but it's maybe just a lot of small things that kind of accumulated.
Yeah, no, and you've touched on a lot of really, really good tips, man. Good nuggets for people to take away from. And I always like that phrase too. Don't be afraid to ask for help, right? I mean, even my digital marketing business, I'm in a mastermind program with coaches and things like that too. So it's like it shortens your curve to get to where you want to go, help you build the business, and you're talking to people that have been down that road that you're in. Think about if you got a local mentor, that's been in the tree service business for 25 years, like he's going to know exponentially more of how to put out all these different fires in the business and solving problems and things that you're just not going to know until you get there, right? So it's helpful to rub shoulders with people like that. And so that's good. It sounds
Yeah,
like,
it's been.
yeah, sounds like you guys are doing some of that as well. Well, awesome, man. Take it out. What I guess the next thing is, I mean, of course you love trees and things like that, arboriculture and things like that, but what's kind of your favorite part of the tree service business? Is it the people? Is it the work, or is it just kind of just the whole project in general from start to finish, cleaning it up and everything else?
For me, I would say that my kind of passion definitely is large scale removals and hazard removals. I really do enjoy that aspect of it and climbing and as much as I love crane work and stuff. I love good technical rigging. I love the physical aspect of it. Like I'm a big grew up a big hockey guy. I'm a big fitness guy. So being able to kind of apply that into my work every day and find advancements in my skill set because of that every day, I really enjoy. And I like the people. The people are good, and I do get some joy out of when you can help somebody out. It's always nice when you finish taking a tree down and they always say to you, "Oh, I could never sleep when it rained," or stuff like that, or you help pull a tree off somebody's house and they're really grateful for that. But yeah, the physical aspect of it is is probably the biggest thing. And then kind of that camaraderie when you're doing that work. It's hard work, and sometimes when you're doing hard work, that's when you kind of make the best friends, right? Like I have some awesome friends that I've made over the years doing this, and we get along so well. That's the other part of it is the fun of it, working with your friends, doing, running chainsaws and running big equipment, right?
Yeah, just having fun, doing what you love to do every day, man. That's awesome. What about I want to make sure we be respectful of your time, man. I appreciate you joining us today and sharing your story. What maybe over the next 5 to 10 years, do you have like goals or kind of what do you think the business may look like? Or what are your thoughts on that? Or have you haven't thought that far ahead yet?
I've kind of thought maybe not necessarily to the 5 year mark, but I'm taking things maybe 1 or 2 years at a time. Um, I'm not 100% sure kind of the way things are gonna go. I'm trying to be smart about, big purchases right now within at least the first few years. Ultimately, yeah, I think that we're kind of setting ourselves up to be a good residential company in our area. We don't have, a bucket truck and some man lifts and spider lifts and stuff to tackle like roadside or utility work. My goal is to really build this up as kind of a prominent residential company that tackles large scale big trees in backyards, technical rigging. And so I think, yeah, I think our next step will be we'll purchasing some equipment, and then maybe in another year from now, I'd like to take on an apprentice.
Cool. Yeah, and a lot of these decisions and things, they'll come to you as you keep evolving in the business, right? Because I had, everybody I kind of think has the same sort of thoughts when they start their business. They're not sure what the 2 year mark looks like, or what the 5 year marks look like, or what they're supposed to have in place by those times and those milestones. There really is no reason to even get all worked up about it. It's just one of those things that'll just keep coming to you every year. You'll start, making decisions and solving problems that your business kind of brings on. A lot of the problems are just growth problems. It's like, it's what do they call growing pains, right? What are the next steps? Who do I hire? Who do I put into place and things like that? And it'll all come to you. Sounds like you guys are doing the right thing, getting a lot of referrals. And that's always a good indication that you're going to be a successful business. If you're getting referrals in the early years, you're getting good positive 5-star reviews and feedback from local community, that's usually a good indication you're on a great trajectory to grow the business, man. So it's awesome, man. Kudos to you guys. Thanks for sharing your story. I love the name too, man. Saber Tooth Tree. That's pretty cool, pretty catchy. And anything else, any parting words you want to maybe share with the audience before we hop off?
No, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll try and stay warm these next couple weeks, and hopefully you guys don't get any more snow.
Yeah, absolutely. If you got any updates you want to share down the road, man, as you guys continue to grow, we'd love to have you on again, So appreciate your time and sharing your story today. If you guys are still watching this video, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to the video. If you have any questions for Lucas, any questions for us, leave a comment on the YouTube video, like and subscribe to the channel, and then also on the podcast. It'll be on there starting next week. We're not live anywhere right now, but this will be uploaded. And then I'll send you a copy as well, Lucas. And appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next video, guys.